Okay, I wanted to take a minute, in fact, a very quick minute, to go through what I ended up doing to solve the problem that we had in the earlier video. And I also, you'll probably notice a little bit of difference between the color coding now and what I had earlier. After doing some research, I use the VI editor, and I've mentioned that before in other videos. But I ran across the NeoVim, which is a newer version. It's actually a fork of the original Vim editor. And it's got a completely different plugin manager and other things. And so I wanted to try it out, and I actually like it a lot. So I've switched over to it, so you can kind of see, if you go back and look at the earlier videos, the coloring is a little bit different because I'm using a different plugin, but the overall editor is all the same. So the problem that we had yesterday, and the thing that I got fixed, and I wanted to do a real quick video just on this, and then the next video we'll get into the actual rest stuff, because I didn't want to start talking about other stuff. So the problem that we had yesterday is when we came down here to actually build this request variable, we had it set to request plus, or request equals request plus the string. We were trying to put all this stuff together to build what we wanted, and it was causing the ownership of the variable to be changed from what it used to be to what it was fixing to be. So in other words, I was taking st and I was setting it equal to request, which was killing st, and so then when we put the ampersand on there to use the address of st, that caused another problem with it trying to use request. And so what I ended up doing to fix this, and I don't know if this is the best way to fix it, but it worked perfectly, is I used the format macro to build my string. So I'm just telling it to, like before we can do a print. So you've seen the print command. In fact, there's one right here below it. But what I did to fix our problem is I use format. I have a quote, and then I've got our two variables that we're going to put in here with a pipe in between them, and then I just pass in request and st. That doesn't cause it to mess with request and st. Everything still works like it's supposed to, and then I print out what the request is. And you'll also notice up here that we're printing out our record and our counter. So if we jump out of here, and I want to, let's see, I'm going to have to fix this. We want to copy, and we'll copy this guy over to input.txt, and then we're going to do a cargo build. Actually, we can do a cargo run, and then we're going to do input file, or input.txt, output.txt, and then our hash code, which we'll just make up at the moment. And so we'll run that. And so as you can see here, the way that those print commands are working is it prints out record 1, and then it grabs the first element of the first line of the TE file, and then it prints it. And then it grabs the next record, or the next line, and it adds them together with a pipe in between them, and then it prints it. And then it grabs the next line again, all the way down. And then here, if you remember, we had a TE, and then we had an SE. And so this is the record 2 SE. And so it has record 2, and then it goes through. So this is exactly what we should have had based on the code that we're actually working with. So the code at the moment tells it to go in and grab the request, add to our counter if we're on a new record, and then it builds up this request thing and gets it ready to send off to the server. Now, what we're going to end up doing is, in this code up here, as we mentioned yesterday, we're going to be going in next on this and adding our REST calls and stuff to actually, so when we build up a record, we're going to go ahead and send it off to the server and get a response back. So we're reading our file, we build up our request information, and then we're going to send that whole package off to the server. So thinking about this, I may not put the code in this if counter field. We may do it a little bit different. So we'll see how this works out once we're ready to do this. And actually, I'm sorry, that is what we're going to do. But in this counter field, we're actually, and I did mention this yesterday, it's actually going to be taking this request variable and assigning it to the post var, one of the post vars, to get sent back to the server, sent up to the server, and then it's going to clear our request variable so that it can restart it. So every section, every piece that it runs through, like that record one, once it got through with record one, just before it started record two, it would have taken record one, put it in a post var, and then cleared everything and then started on request two. So that's what we're going to be doing next, is actually setting up a HTTP call that we're going to be making over to the REST server, and then we'll build up those keys to actually submit to that call so that we can hopefully get a response back when we get it figured out.